podcast. You want some clout, gang? Then you're supposed to be one of the guys.
Brush. I apply the brush. Brush. I apply the brush. Brush. I apply the brush. Yeah, brush. I apply the brush.
Ladies and gentlemen, we back in the building. It's your homeboy Lo from the Go. On today's show, we got a very special guest in the building, man. If y'all don't know, now you know. It's going to be a PLM News takeover on Members Only Podcast with the homeboy Fiji, man. Fiji, man, what's going on with you, OG?
Man, not much, man. Same old two-step.
Same old two-step, man. I hear that, man. Hey, I've been watching your channel. It's been growing. You got a lot of interaction going on over there, man. Why do you think you get so much interaction on your channel, bro?
We starting to pick up some interaction, bro, but it's because of the peoples that our subscribers, they are loyal subscribers. Our subscribers come strictly from word of mouth. We didn't go through all the other channels that a lot of other platforms go through to get their subscribers up. You know, so our subscribers are hardcore PLM fans who stands on truth and facts.
Right. Speaking of truth and facts, that's the common motto with your show right there. That's the moniker. All right, so look, check this out, man. You've been speaking on a certain individual that's been making his rounds around the internet, and I'm talking about the OG from Chicago, Dirk Acklin, right? You've been speaking on this brother. He's been making his rounds through the internet, and he said some very interesting things, man. He said that Larry Hoover picked up King David when King David was shot in his mom's brand new car, and King David crowned him the king of the gangsters.
Okay. Now, I can't speak on about him, about Mr. Barksdale being shot and Mr. Hoover picking him up, taking him to the hospital, nothing like that. So I can't speak on that, and I will not speak on that because that could possibly be true. That's the first time I had heard that, so I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not going to speak on it. As for Mr. Barksdale crowning Mr. Hoover to be the king of the gangsters, how can you, that's not true either. Mr. Barksdale and Mr. Hoover, they hooked up together and came up with a bigger plan. Matter of fact, David seen a bigger plan than the violence that was going on between the gangsters and the disciples. Him and Larry got together and they said, okay, man, let's share power, equal power. You're a king, I'm a king. Up until that point, there had never been kings before in the street organizations out of Chicago. It had always been chiefs and presidents and things of that nature. It had never been no kings. Those were the first two kings in the city of Chicago when it comes to street organization. And that fact come from the blueprint.
When he said it, I was like, how could he crown Hoover the king of the gangsters? I was thinking like maybe he misspoke at that point right there. Like, how could he crown him the king of something that was already going on, right?
Yeah, Dirk said that, but that's not true. You know what I'm saying? The gangsters and the disciples were fighting each other. Matter of fact, the disciples had shot Mr. Larry Hoover, I think, on several occasions. And the Stones was trying to kill him. Everybody, it was all out warfare, bro. It was all out warfare. So and each group was fighting each other. But the gangsters were the smallest of the group because they were the youngest out of that group, but they was growing. And so Larry had talked to Mr. Fort about merging, but Mr. Fort wanted to give Larry a lesser position as an ambassador, you know. So Larry said, man, he turned that down. Nah, you ain't finna swallow the gangsters up. So, but Dirkie said that Larry wasn't able to rule or be the leader over his own peoples because Jeff Fort wouldn't allow him. And he was saying that Jeff made Larry an ambassador and that Larry was a stone. We have to make sense out of a lot of this stuff, man. If Larry, and I said this on the last episode, man, if Larry was a stone, that means that Ike was a stone, Fatty was a stone, Dee Dee was a stone, G-Shot was a stone, and everybody else that was gangsters were stones because Jeff would have been Larry chief.
So he turned down that position because he didn't want to be having lesser favor within the organization that he had already started, right?
That's right. And, Jeff couldn't see nobody standing side by side with him. And so Larry wasn't going to be beneath him. If we couldn't be side by side, then, wasn't going to be no merger, period. But they did have a peace treaty, as we call it. You know what I'm saying? A peace treaty was, you wouldn't fire against us and we wouldn't fire against you. But that was broken in 1968 when the Stones shot two other gangsters. So that peace treaty was broken. So that's how that happened, man. But it was never no thing where Larry was beneath Jeff or Jeff was above Larry and none of that. No, sir.
One thing that I noticed that the kids nowadays, to talk trash or to say something bad about a GD, they might call them a brick, right? And the Stones are known for having the bricks with the pyramid, right? Am I correct with that?
Yep, they got the 21. The 21, I think that stood for the main 21. That was for the 21. Over the 21 branches up under the Blackstone Rangers banner. That's why it's called the main 21. There was 21 different branches of the Stones, and each one of those bricks represented a particular chief of the main 21 within the main 21. But I think you would have to ask a Blackstone, a person who come out of that family, because they can give you more history on it. I'm more of a historian when it comes to growth and development. So when it comes to growth and development, that's why I really focus at. Much love and peace out to all the Blackstones, I'm saying, worldwide. No disrespect towards no Mr. Ford or nobody that honor him. Peace and respect to all Stones.
Right. I just find it strange that like young kids call GDs, in order to talk trash, so they call them bricks. I just felt like, damn, where did that even come from? I really didn't understand it.
That was a disrespectful term, man, that was used for the same way they use cold bricks. Cold bricks come out of the Moorish Science Temple. So when you was calling somebody a smelly cold brick, that was a form of disrespect towards us. The same way they was calling us donuts and all that stuff. All that was disrespectful terms. They would call us rivers, everything, So a river, we know what a river is, what I'm saying? A river just flows, what I'm saying? And that's a river is also a Negro when it comes to in more science.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, man. Thanks for dropping a little bit of knowledge on me. All right, so let's get back to Dirkie. All right, Dirkie, what do you think about him going around telling the story as he sees fit? And do you believe that the victor or, the person that wins get the right history?
I believe this here. This is what Dirkie has done. Throughout Dirkie life, Dirkie has always been a liar. And I talked to the elders, the older brothers that comes before me, the original, and I talked to them. Everybody say the same thing about Dirkie. Dirkie has always been a liar, and Dirkie has always wanted to be seen or viewed as David was viewed, Larry was viewed, and Boss Jerome was viewed. He could never be viewed like that. So he had tried to start his own organizations. He brought the Black Disciples back, but he knew he couldn't be the king of that. So he made Mr. Freeman became king of the Black Disciples. Then he tried the apostles, the last apostles, the Asiatic last apostles or something like that. That got stumped out. Now he's moving on now to 414. He always wanted to be viewed as a leader. But see, this is what people start to understand. Dirkie, there's a vacuum, right? And here's that vacuum. Our brothers and sisters in the South, that means all brothers and sisters in the South, no matter what branch, they are big on history. And what I mean by history, that means history within their own particular family. That means history in the towns they live in. They big on history. So when it comes to the organizations, the street organization, they want to know all the history. So in the process of wanting to know history, there's a void there. And guess who has stepped in to fill that void?
Dirk Acklin.
Dirk Acklin has stepped in to fill that void. So with nobody else is speaking out, he get to tell the story the way he wants to tell the story. Cause he's trying to fill that void. That's what he's doing. So we got to be mindful of that, because us in Chicago, the first thing that we'll say is, oh man, everybody know Dirk is lying. Yeah, people in Chicago know Dirk is a liar. People in Chicago know Dirk is not no disciple and no black disciple. People in Chicago know he's in disgrace, but people throughout the rest of the country don't know this here. They don't know this. So he's telling his story the way he's always tried to tell the story.
How many times have you called some mistruths to be in statements that he made?
Countless. He said on one platform when I first came home something about he raped Don Smokey. May he rest in peace, which was a lie. He said he the one walked Larry down the aisle to put a crown on his head, which was a lie. He just lied, man. He's a liar. He's a compulsive liar, man. And so I'll be sitting here for hours on hours, man, trying to dispel all his lies, man. You know, but since it's in that last podcast that was done, bro, people's only thing they was talking about is, well, Prince Tennessee said this and Prince Tennessee said that. Well, Larry Hoover himself and Ike Taylor have both said that Larry wasn't a Stone, that Larry wasn't an ambassador. If both of them had said it now, mind you, pay attention to this here, bro. The person that we are talking about has said that he wasn't that. It's in this book right here. Ike Taylor has said, but we have people that come around and say, well, Tennessee said that he was a Stone. Well, what about what he said? What about what Larry said? So do we believe Larry or do you believe Tennessee? Do you believe Ike, who was there with Larry since they was kids, or do you believe Dirkie? Who do we believe? So challenge your thinking, but in order to challenge your thinking, a person got to know how to think. Start thinking first before you can challenge your thinking.
All right, so you spoke of one of his recent endeavors, which is the 414 movement. Could you explain that a little bit?
I apply the pressure. I apply the pressure. I apply the pressure. Yeah, pressure. I apply the pressure.